Well, 2022 is the 50th anniversary of what turned out to be, well, shall we say, the crashing of the gate for female athletes as Title IX was instituted 50 years ago. And benefiting from it have been all female athletes, regardless of the sport, including the sport of motorsports. And to give you an illustration, our victory lap by Advance Auto Parts this week travels all the way to Monroe, Washington, and the Evergreen Speedway that operates weekly that has become a crucible for female drivers, including our next guest, 17-year-old Haley Constance, who joins us here inside the wind tunnel. Haley, so good to have you join us. You started at a very early age. Am I correct? You sat in your first race car when you were 3 years old?
Yes, I was 3 years old. I started in a 50cc Comer goat kart on the dirt.
And were you immediately hooked, or was it just an extension of a racing family that was spearheaded by your dad's driving?
Well, at first I watched my dad. I grew up watching my dad race, and I always wanted to get behind the wheel and start racing myself. And after I showed that a little more and showed my interest in racing, they finally put me in something. And as I kept getting faster, they kept moving me up the ranks and then just continued to further my racing career.
And yet, in the meantime, like any kid growing up, volleyball, basketball, other team sports occupied some of your time. So, when did you make the conscious decision? With all due respect for those pastimes, I want to make my sporting bed in motorsports.
So after I got into the junior late model, that's when my passion just kept getting bigger and bigger. And freshman year of high school for me, I was going to try out for the volleyball team because I was also playing club volleyball at the time.
Uh huh.
And I decided to just quit everything. I realized that I loved racing so much more than anything else I did. So I just told my dad, let's better our program, let's keep going, let's see how far we can go in racing. I'm going to quit everything else.
And his response, was he excited? Was he have some trepidation? How did your dad respond to your decision?
My dad was super excited. We share the same passion. So he was like, okay, let's go. We're going to get a little bit more serious. I hope you're ready. My mom was a little butthurt because she liked the sports side of things a little bit more. But now we're here. She's one of my biggest supporters. So I love having her involved in my racing too.
One of the aspects of short track racing, and that's where I was born and raised, is the fact that it can easily unite a family. You alluded to the fact that your dad had a great career as a driver and now serves as your coach, but you also have two siblings, two brothers that are ultra competitive in micro sprints, and every now and again you like to take up that mantle as well. That's got to be kind of crazy when the three of you go back to the dirt.
It is super crazy. This last Friday, we all three were racing, and it's hard because we don't have a lot of help, but it's so much fun doing it together, and it's a little hectic, but we have a lot of fun doing it. And it's just nice having that competition because it motivates you more to keep getting better and better and try to beat them. So it's nice having that competition, especially when it's your own family.
All right, staying within the family, and Haley, recognizing that your two brothers are probably not standing over your shoulders, so you can be. I'm sorry, Brooklyn, your sister, and your older brother Spencer aren't standing over your shoulder. Who's the best behind the wheel?
Well, I have to say myself. I mean,
There you go. That's what I like. Yeah. Let's move to your career at Evergreen, because you're not at the entry level is an unfair way to put it, but I think with the guidance of your dad, you've set about a course of action where every race you compete in, the goal is to get better, and as you get closer and closer, winning now is part of the conversation, is it not?
yeah, it is. So winning is our main goal this year. We either think you should go for a championship because you played a little bit more safe, like top fives, top threes, but this year we just solely focused on winning races. And I think we just keep getting closer and closer to that every race we do. We keep progressing. We started off the season really strong with a third place finish, our very first race. And unfortunately, the second race we had at Evergreen, we had electrical issues. And then we just recently had the Summer Showdown, or the Mark Galloway race, sorry, which was one of the biggest races at Evergreen this year. And we finished with a solid top 4 finish. So I think we're getting closer, and hopefully we can get that win soon.
How much patience does it take, Haley, to know that the wins will come? But right now, what's of utmost importance is to develop your racecraft.
It takes a lot of patience. It's hard to realize that it's not going to come right away. And you have to focus a lot on your feedback and growing as a driver for that win to finally come. And like I've said before, a lot of winning races comes from working in the shop and developing your knowledge on the mechanics of the car and learning about how setup works, what kind of feedback you can give to make the car better so you're the best car and driver out there.
And you again, under the guidance of your parents, have made, well, the shop work a family affair as well, reserving Tuesday and Thursday nights, I understand, as shop nights. So tell me what goes into it when the Constance family convenes in the garage to get all the different racing vehicles ready.
It's a lot of fun. It can be stressful at times, and you know how that goes with families when things get a little stressful, but it's nice because my older brother and my dad have so much knowledge that they can teach me in the shop. And a lot of the times we do have fun. So it's nice just being able to have that thing that gets everybody together, because some families don't necessarily have that thing. So I'm super thankful for it.
As I alluded to when we first joined the wind tunnel here, you're at the launch point of your career. What are your long-term goals? I know your short-term goals, but where do you hope this ride will eventually take you in the world of motorsports?
Eventually, I really want to be running super late models and just traveling all over, kind of like a Bubba Pollard or a Jeremy Doss or a Derek Thorne, just doing that, racing like the Snowball Derby. That's one of my main goals. I really want to race the Snowball Derby, but just keep progressing, and I want to take it step by step and just keep growing and just see where it takes me in the long run.
As I said, long before you were even a great thought in your parents' minds, the United States adopted what was long overdue, and that is Title IX, to stop, even at de facto levels, discrimination against female athletes and female sports, and try to gain some parity. And certainly over the course of the world of motorsports, from Louise Smith all the way to Janet Guthrie to Sarah Fisher to Danica Patrick, it strikes me that once you hit the ground in that go-kart at age 3, there didn't seem to be that sort of stigma against female race car drivers. Have you ever experienced any sort of negativity due to the fact that, well, your gender may be different than some of the others that get in race cars?
Well, every once in a while, it's like obviously people see the female driver and maybe think less of them. Hopefully not, but I haven't got too much discrimination where I race. I think I've gotten a lot of respect from the other drivers. And I'm thankful for my parents, because even since a young age, they let me know that there's no limits, which has helped my confidence and helped me keep going as a driver, even if I do face a little bit of discrimination. But I like to think of myself as just a race car driver, not a female race car driver, just a race car driver in general.
And thank goodness your parents instilled that into you. But I'll add to it, just because I can, and because I am a dad of a daughter, the fact that Sarah Fisher once said, and all female race car drivers need to remember this: a race car is an inanimate object. It's a mechanical thing. It does not discern the difference between a man or a woman that's twisting the steering wheel. What it responds to is talent.
Exactly.
So this season has been good, but it certainly can get better. And, as I said, you're in an area there in the Pacific Northwest that seems to have been really good at developing adept and very accomplished female race car drivers. So I would think that that's got to be encouraging for what your lifelong goals are, to follow in the footsteps and become a female Bubba Pollard. Racing against some older folks in your division, how receptive have they been? And what's the best lesson, both positive and or negative, that you've learned from them?
Well, there's a lot of great racers at Evergreen Speedway, like Naima Lang, Chad Fitzpatrick, and a whole bunch of others that come and race there. And they've taught me a lot. Going up into the class at 16 years old, there was a lot for me to learn about respect and how to drive other people and just be a good driver in general. So I think I learned a lot doing that, and I'm hoping to just learn more and just keep going with that.
On a 1 to 10, with 10 being totally confident, where's your confidence level going into the rest of this season, Haley?
I would love to say a 10, but right now, probably a 7. I think confidence is very important going into racing, because if you don't believe that you're a winner, if you don't believe that you can win, then I don't think you'll get there. You have to have that thought in the back of your head. So I try to believe it, but sometimes it can be a little difficult. You know how it is.
Oh, indeed I do. And listen, when you attain that 10, then you'll shoot for an 11, a 12, or a 13. Staying with the
Exactly.
1 to 10, though, for a question in terms of questioning, on a 1 to 10, what is Haley Constance, shall we say, passion for a sport that was shown to her by her dad and has been nurtured by her parents, her brother, and her sister?
Oh, definitely a 12,
There
maybe
you
more.
go. There you
Maybe.
go. Listen, it's a distinct pleasure. I always enjoy talking to young aspiring race car drivers, especially when their heads are screwed on straight. And thanks to the way you've been brought up, there is no question in my mind about that. And I wish you the very best of luck as you continue your climb up that ladder. And you know what? A snowball derby win is on the horizon. Just have patience, confidence, and passion, and you'll get there, kiddo.
Thank you so much for having me. It was great talking to you.